This boat is dangerous for one simple reason. It looks like the answer. It's big enough, pretty enough, comfortable enough, modern enough, and suddenly, somehow, almost affordable enough. That's the moment a sailor's brain starts doing bar napkin math. So today, before we let the dream take the wheel, we're going to look at what this boat really is. Today we're looking at the Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 42DS, and I'm going to admit my bias right up front. This is one of my personal favorite used cruising boats. Not because it's perfect, it isn't. Not because it's the toughest offshore boat ever built, because it's definitely not that. I like it because it represents one of the most interesting bargains in the used cruising boat market. A big, comfortable, modern feeling 42-foot monohull that gives you a lot of the dream boat experience without all that dreamboat price. And that matters because most sailors are not shopping with unlimited money. Most of us are trying to find the point on the Venn diagram where comfort, capability, age, and price sort of overlap in a way that still makes sense. We want that aft cabin. We want the twin helm maybe. We want a bright saloon with big windows. We want sail handling that doesn't require a wrestling match every time the wind pipes up. We want a boat that feels like a proper cruising home, not a damp fiberglass camping trip. But we may not want or be able to spend $400,000 to get there. That's why the Jeanneau 42DS becomes interesting. These boats are now old enough that many buyers are starting to get nervous. An '06, 2007, maybe an 8. The boat is no longer nearly new. It's entering the age where the standing rigging, the sails, electronics, hoses, canvas, batteries, seacocks, pumps, and engine history all become serious buying questions. And that's exactly why the price gets interesting. A boat turning 20 years old often reaches one of the biggest depreciation points of its life. It's still modern enough to feel relevant, but old enough that the next owner may inherit some of the expensive maintenance. That scares off a lot of buyers. It should scare off a lot of buyers, but for the right person, it can create an opportunity. So this is not just a tour of the Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 42DS. It's a look at the specific kind of used boat proposition. Can you buy a large, attractive, comfortable cruising boat for about the price of a smaller or less glamorous alternative and still come out ahead? And on this boat, the answer might be yes, but only if you know exactly what you're buying. The 42DS was part of Jeanneau's deck saloon line, and the design brief is obvious the moment you see the boat. This was built for cruising comfort. The cabin trunk is raised, the windows are large, the interior is bright, and the layout is aimed squarely at people who want to spend real time on this boat. This is not a super low-slung racer cruiser with a cramped interior and a token aft berth. It's a cruising boat with volume and light and a proper owner's cabin. That was the appeal when it was new, and it's still the appeal now. The DS stands for deck saloon, and that changes the character of the boat. Traditional sailboat interiors can be beautiful, but many of them are dark. Lots of teak, small port lights, lower coach roofs, and that familiar feeling that you're living somewhere below the sidewalk. The 42DS feels different. It has more light, more openness, more air, and a more contemporary atmosphere below. That alone explains a lot of its appeal on the used market. A boat can be 20 years old on paper, but if the interior is bright and layout still works, it doesn't necessarily feel old in the way that some boats from this era do. Bob Perry's take on the 42DS was basically that even if you're not normally drawn to European production boat styling, this one shows real design skill. He called it a handsome boat with a well-balanced approach to the family cruising market and described it as comfortable, well-designed cruiser with unusually polished details. He also pointed out the short-ish rig, double swept-back spreaders, standard in-mast furling, and the wraparound windshield, which he thought was beautifully finished and made an excellent base for a Dodger. That's a useful outside endorsement because Perry is not just saying it's roomy or pretty, he's saying the design itself is coherent. A family cruiser with comfort, detailing, and a sensible balance. The layout most people want in this boat is the 2-cabin version. Forward you have a guest cabin, in the middle you have a big, bright, beautiful saloon, a galley, a nav area, and aft You have the owner's cabin, and that's one of the major selling points of this boat that I don't know if any other boat's ever done it quite so well. On many sailboats, the aft cabin is technically a double berth, but functionally it's a crawl space with upholstery. The 42DS gives you something much closer to the real owner's suite that you want. It's wide. That bed is 77 inches wide. It's comfortable. It's genuinely usable. For a cruising couple, that's not a small thing. The cabin you sleep in every night is not a brochure detail. It becomes part of the quality of your life on this boat. That's one of the reasons I personally love this boat. I like older boats, but I also like comfort. I like the idea of a capable cruising monohull that still feels like somewhere I'd like to live. I don't need a brand new boat, and I can't afford one. I don't need every surface to look like it came out of a luxury condo showroom, but I do want a boat that feels rewarding to be on board, like I bought the right one. And the 42DS delivers a lot of that feeling for me. The cockpit follows the same philosophy: twin wheels, wide working space, easy movement around the helm, and good access through the aft. This is a boat designed for cruising couples and families, not just for a crew of rail meat. The twin wheel layout also opens up the cockpit visually and physically, which makes the boat feel larger and more modern than many other center cockpit or single wheel boats in this size. Most examples are set up for manageable sailing. In-mast furling's common, and while that will always start arguments at yacht clubs, it fits the mission of the boat really well. Under sail, the 42 has a reputation for being a capable, modern cruiser. It's not heavy displacement, traditional passage maker, and it's not trying to be. It's a production cruising boat with a comfortable layout, a broad stern, a modern rig, and decent speed when it's sailed in its lane. It is happiest reaching, as many modern cruising boats are. With the right wind angle and a clean bottom, it can move well upwind as well, especially with the shallow keel and in-mast furling. You really have to manage your expectations. This is not a boat you buy because you want razor-sharp pointing ability. You buy it because you want a comfortable cruiser that sails respectably and makes life aboard pleasant, and that distinction's important. A lot of boat criticism comes from judging the wrong boat against the wrong mission. If you compare the 42DS to a performance cruiser, you'll find compromises. If you compare it to a narrow, older offshore design, you'll find different compromises there. But if the mission is coastal cruising, island hopping, and living aboard part-time, or taking a couple to the Bahamas or the Caribbean for a year or two in comfort, the design starts to make a lot of sense. Now, we need to talk about the used boat part, because this is where the whole story either works for you or it falls apart. The reason a 42-foot boat like this can become attainable is age. A 20-year-old boat is no longer priced purely on what it was. It's priced on what it needs today. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's reality. The buyer's job is to separate depreciation from deferred maintenance. Depreciation is your friend. Deferred maintenance is not. Depreciation is the market saying, this boat is older now, so it costs less. Deferred maintenance is the previous owner saying, good luck with the rigging, champ. And those are very different things. A well-kept 42DS with recent standing rigging, good sails, updated electronics, a clean electrical system, maintained engine, renewed canvas, dried windows, and sorted plumbing may be an excellent value if the asking price is a little higher. That might be $175,000. A cheaper one with original rigging, tired sails, cloudy canvas, leaking windows, old electronics, unknown engine history, and stiff seacocks might be expensive before you ever leave the dock. This is why shopping used boats by asking price alone is dangerous. The cheapest boat is often not actually the best deal. Sometimes it's just the boat with the longest invoice waiting to ambush you. At this stage, standing rigging is one of the first questions. If the rigging's original or if the seller can't document when it was done, assume it needs to be done. That's not a cosmetic issue. It affects safety, insurance, and confidence in the boat. Sails are next. A cruising boat can limp along for years with tired sails, but poor sail shape affects performance and heel and helm balance and reefing and comfort and even safety. If the main and head sail are near the end of their life, the boat may still look good in the slip, but the replacement cost should be part of your offer. We're talking probably 15 grand. Then look hard at the engine. Hours matter, but maintenance matters too. You can do a compression check or an oil sample analysis. Electrical systems deserve the same attention. A 20-year-old boat often has layers of upgrades: chart plotters, solar, battery chargers, inverters, refrigeration, autopilots, AIS, the mystery wires leading to devices that no longer exist. Good upgrades add value. Bad upgrades add problems. Look for labeling, proper fusing, clean wiring, sensible battery installation, and evidence that the work was done by someone who owned both a crimper and a conscience. One 42DS specific issue that deserves attention is the bonded windows. The deck saloon design gives the boat this bright, airy interior, but those large bonded windows are also known for aging. Sun, heat, flex, and time degrade the seals and the adhesive. When that happens, leaks can appear around the windows, and proper repair can be more involved than simply smearing sealant around the edge and hoping Poseidon was busy elsewhere. During a survey, the window areas need a very careful look. Stains, streaked, damp trim, soft spots, or evidence of repeated patching all deserve questions. If the windows have been professionally removed and rebedded, that may be a big positive. If they're leaking and replacement parts are difficult to source, that becomes a big negative. The keel on this and the structural grid should also be inspected carefully, especially if there's any history of grounding. Many production boats use this internal grid structure, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that approach, but damage can be difficult to assess without an experienced surveyor. You want the bilge clean and dry enough to inspect everything. You want keel bolts and backing plates examined. You want cracks, tabbing issues, or signs of movement taken very seriously. This is where the personality of the buyer matters. A 20-year-old boat can be a very good purchase for someone who's practical and observant and reasonably handy. You don't have to be a professional marine electrician or fiberglass technician, but you should not be helpless either. You should be willing to learn systems and carry tools and chase small problems before they become big ones, and understand that an older boat will require regular involvement from you. If you need every job done by a yard, the financial equation for this boat changes quickly. Yard labor's too expensive. Marine parts are expensive. Buy something newer. A boat that looked affordable on purchase day can become punishing if every pump, fitting, leak, wire, and hose requires a professional invoice. That does not mean only hardcore DIY people should buy one of these. It means buyers need an honest understanding of their own tolerance and ability. If you enjoy maintenance like I do, or at least accept that it's part of the trade, a boat like this can be a smart way into a much larger, more comfortable cruiser. If you hate maintenance and you avoid tools at all costs, and you expect an older boat to behave like a new one, this is probably the wrong path. And that really is the buyer's test for the 42DS. You're not just asking whether you like the boat. Of course you like the boat. Look at it. It's got a big cockpit and a big aft cabin and a bright saloon and easy sail handling and Caribbean retirement brochure energy all over it. The better question is whether you like the deal. Because the deal is this. You get a lot of boat for the money because the boat is old enough to need intelligent ownership. And if you're going to be looking at older boats and have the stomach for major upgrades, you'll also love this 3-part article called Diesel Repower from Scratch. In this series, John Stone, a Cape Dory 36 owner, walks through the real-world trade-offs that led him from outboard wells and electric dreams to a compact offset shaft diesel repower. A great article for you. I'll leave a link in the description. While you're here, leave a comment. What do you think about the 42DS boats? What did we miss? What do you love about them? What do you hate about them? Do you have one? We'd love to hear from you. And hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps us out, but also it lets YouTube know that you like sailboat videos, so it'll show you more of them. How cool is that? And hit subscribe so we can see you again next time.